some of the literature we're seeing come out as it relates to people being made DNR is that it may be that some people who are being made DNR are also not getting optimal care. Not always, sometimes yes, sometimes no. A lot of that has to do with several factors. One is often DNR is presented to families and to patients when the prognosis looks grim. But that prognosis assumes that the person making the prognosis is a good prognosticator. And what we see from all the studies that you'll see that I've linked in the bottom here is that not all doctors and healthcare providers are good prognosticators of anyone's particular situation necessarily. So different hospitals will apply DNR status at a different rate than other hospitals. In other words, if you go into a hospital with a major stroke, depending on what hospital you go to, you may be talked into DNR at a higher or lower rate than another hospital. And that DNR status can be a predictor of whether you live and die. In other words, if you go into a hospital and within the first 24 hours after a stroke, they say, your doctor comes and says, well, this is a massive stroke. We shouldn't do any heroics. You agree with that? And if you agree with that, that is a marker of you not leaving the hospital at a higher rate than someone who says, no, to go ahead and do everything for me. So for the DNR to be applied equitably and across the board, there is no set of criteria that every hospital and every doctor follows. It's a judgment call every time. And yes, while the majority are probably done within the same criteria, depending on what hospital or which part of the country you're in, there's a different rate of DNR status for the same diagnoses. And not only that, but there's a different rate of outcome for people who are made DNR. Often, based on some of these studies, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy where if you're made DNR, you're more likely not to leave the hospital. Now, why that's the case? Some of these articles argue that it's because the people who are made DNR actually have worse disease or more likely not to make it. But other articles suggest that it may be that people who are made DNR are offered less care after they're made DNR.